What's going on YouTube Ferocity here? I hope you guys are doing well. We're in the midst of the decline of Call of Duty. And this has been going on for the last few years with lackluster release after lackluster release. And now to kind of try to boost the numbers so it looks more favorable to shareholders, Call of Duty has combined everything together. Modern Warfare 3, Warzone, and MW2. And if you look over at Steam charts, it doesn't seem as if Call of Duty is as down bad as maybe some people like myself report on. But you've got to take into account they are factoring in 3 games into the player base right now. And let me tell you this. Steam charts isn't every player on PC. It's not indicative of the entire community, and I understand that. But let's say for a second that Steam accounts for 10% of the population that plays Call of Duty. Do you think that it is good for the player base, for the game, for the franchise, if only 1.3 million players are playing at the peak amount over the last 30 days? Or how about this? 750,000 players on average across the last 30 days. Do you think those are good numbers by any means? No, they're not, especially when you factor in that includes Warzone, MW2, and MW3. That's pitiful because they are taking 3 games and averaging that out to about 250,000 people per game. Obviously, those aren't exact numbers, they are averages. And that's the problem here. Call of Duty is slowly declining in player base. Their inability to retain players and actually grow the game over the course of a year is astonishing. And again, these are very, very, very generous assumptions. Because you know what? I would argue that Steam probably counts for a 6th or a 7th of the player base instead of a 10th. And when you look at that and you think of those numbers, we're talking about even less players playing the games. And the majority of players are probably playing what is free to play, which is Warzone. So when we look at multiplayer and we look at MW2 and we look at the other games that encompass Call of Duty right now, the numbers aren't good. This franchise is declining. And that word that I talked about earlier, player retention, has been at the forefront of all of this because they have lacked the ability to retain players. They have lacked the ability to maintain a cohesive community. Everybody is at odds with one another. It's always infighting. Oh, MW2 is better than MW3. Oh, this, oh, that, or Warzone sucks, or MW3 sucks, or this or that, and I don't care. Let me do what I want with my money. And the infighting gets us nowhere because the infighting does not lead to a better game. The infighting does not lead to a larger player base. Already from the outside, people perceive Call of Duty fans and players as extremely toxic. And yes, some of us are, but no more than other communities. But it's because we are always constantly infighting, because we're always constantly trying to tear each other down and not face the truth, face the facts, that the real enemy here and the real problem is Activision and its developers. That's where the problem lies. It's not within ourselves, it's not within this community. You're allowed to like what you want to like. If you like MW3, great. If you play it, awesome. Same thing goes with MW2. Same thing goes with Warzone. You're allowed to like things. But to look at the general consensus across this community and say they are wrong because they're toxic and they're haters is incorrect. It is very easy to look at the current landscape of Call of Duty and say it's not good enough. The numbers back it up. When they are struggling to push over 1 million players, being generous on a given day, that's not good enough, considering the fact that MW2 used to have 2 million players every single day playing MW2 on Xbox and on PlayStation. People aren't playing the game like they used to because, shockingly, the quality of the game has diminished so drastically. Or maybe our expectations have gone up with advances in technology. You'd expect a game released in 2024 would be better than a game released in 2011. That's not the case. Modern Warfare 3 in 2011 was a much more cohesive, immersive, retention-based game. It allowed you to be retained. There's a reason why I felt more enjoyment playing that game. And a lot of it strived from the fact that there were actual social features. Friendships were made. I could play with my friends. It's still a nightmare trying to play with your friends here in Modern Warfare 3. You want to talk about player retention? You want to talk about growing this fan base? Start there. Start with implementing some real social features and stop being so afraid of offending people. There's always been this little tool you can use called the mute button, called the block button. You can use that if someone offends you. It's not that difficult. It worked back in 2011 and it works here in 2024. Stop tearing away social features because you're scared that some 14-year-old kid that's not old enough to buy your game is offended about what somebody else says in a lobby. Seriously. I'm so sick of it. But it's not just social features that are a problem. It's not the sole reason why Call of Duty is falling down the tubes. It's because they are not paying attention to the feedback the player base is giving them. Because they are trying to reap the maximum reward with putting in the minimal amount of effort. And it's so frustrating being somebody that looks from the outside and sees all of the missed opportunity and all of the missed potential of Call of Duty. You want Call of Duty to grow. You want it to thrive. You want it to beat the numbers that you've set for yourself. You want to strive to new levels, to new heights. Fix your damn servers. Make matchmaking make sense. Make the game polished. It's not hard. You want to fight back against these declining numbers? Bring up the quality. Ensure that you are implementing changes that are for the community instead of for your pockets at every single turn. Stop putting profit over good game design and over an environment that is conducive to a really good player base. I am sick and tired of having this conversation repeatedly within this community because it's time for all of us to wake up, smell the coffee, and realize we hold all the power here. Start realizing that. We are Call of Duty's biggest nightmare. Because if we actually band together and realize that we hold the power, we can enact real change. We can bring back Call of Duty from where it used to be. So when I look at Steam charts and I see consistent red numbers for the last 3 months, I know that it's not just me that doesn't like this game, it's the community. And it's time for us to speak up. It's time for us to stop infighting. Let people enjoy things, but come to the realization and the truth that Call of Duty is nowhere near where it should be, and it should be in such a better place than where it is right now. And it's because of complacency that we are here. It's because we let them off the hook repeatedly that we constantly see a decline in the player base and a decline in the quality. So this is our opportunity to come together and say, we want to see more players playing the game. We want to strengthen this community. We want this community to grow. So let's fight back against Activision. Let's fight for this franchise. And let's see Call of Duty actually grow and prosper. Remember, you're the one that holds the power. You're the one that holds the ability to hold them accountable. So it's time to start holding them accountable. But that's it for the video today. I'd love to hear your thoughts down below in that comment section. Do you think that the player base is actually diminishing, or do you think it's just a PC thing? Do you think that the player base is actually growing on console and that's why they're not sharing us the real numbers? Would love to hear your thoughts down below in that comment section. And as always, guys, thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please hit that like button. If you want to see more videos from me, please hit that subscribe button. I'll see you guys next time.